One thing that every member of Congress should be able to agree on is that the pro-Hamas insurrection unfolding right now at Columbia University needs to end now. Jewish students are being openly threatened, and demonstrators are vowing genocide against Israel while also burning American flags. Here's a taste of their largely peaceful protesting, calling for more October 7ths.
Never forget the 7th of October.
That will happen.
Never forget the 7th of October.
Not one more time. Not 5 more times. Not 10 more times. Not 100 more times. Not 1,000 more times.
Not
10,000 times.
Very scholarly. By the way, Yale University is also now seeing an outbreak of this pro-terrorist madness. Folks, again, this is happening on Ivy League campuses in America right now in 2024. And it all comes as the Passover holiday begins today for Jews around the world. This just may be the most perilous Passover for the Jewish people since the rebirth of Israel in 1948. Joining us now to break down what it means and what comes next is our good friend Elan Carr, CEO of the Israeli-American Council and Special Envoy for monitoring and combating anti-Semitism under President Trump. Elan, always great to see you. Hey, Columbia University is holding virtual classes today because of these pro-Hamas demonstrators, and a rabbi at the school is urging Jewish students to leave campus and go home immediately. Elan, this is insane. What's happening here, and how can it be stopped?
Well, it's great to be with you, Eric, and thank you for being a voice of moral clarity in these times of incredible moral confusion in our world. And no place is that moral confusion, indeed depravity, more apparent than on America's college campuses. And in fact, the more elite and prestigious the university, the more of a cesspool it is in terms of un-American, anti-Semitic, and frankly, dangerous attitudes and movements that are on full expression. Columbia is in the news now, and with great justification given what's going on there. But as you point out, Eric, it's not only Columbia. It's Harvard, it's Yale, it's Columbia, it's Penn. That's on the East Coast. And then you can move all the way to the West Coast to the UC system. Cal Berkeley, my alma mater, of which I'm very proud, is a very difficult place. And San Francisco State and UC Irvine. Look, there is a real pathology. I would call it a metastatic cancer on America's college campuses. And now that metastatic cancer has sadly spread to high schools, middle schools, and even elementary schools. And it is in the form of a Marxist, a radical, anti-American ideology that carries with it deep anti-Semitism, not only hostility to the Jewish state, but deep anti-Semitism. And I have to tell you, if we don't address this, our country is in danger. This isn't only about Jews. And yes, the campuses have become intolerable places for Jews in many cases. But this isn't only about Jews. This is about the future of our country. And if we don't address this, the American future is in jeopardy.
Along those lines, Elan, great point, by the way. Why should Christians care? Look, we've got a very large Christian audience right now, of course. Why should Christians care? Why do we have a stake in this fight for the Jewish people in about a minute we have here before the break?
Well, I'll tell you, Christians should care because Jew hatred, anti-Semitism, is the world's chief manifestation of ungodliness. Throughout history, whenever you found a movement that is at its core ungodly, it manifests that hatred of spirituality through hatred of the Jewish people. And that's what we're seeing. Our country, the United States, is based on Judeo-Christian values. And so we've got to counter, again, not violating free speech, but we've got to counter these pro-terrorist, anti-American, anti-Judeo-Christian movements that are so dangerous on campuses today. And the fact that Jewish students are fleeing campuses, which, by the way, I don't advise. Let me be clear. I think the way to beat this is you stand your ground and you fight back. But the fact that some feel the need to flee tells you all you need to know. This has to be addressed.
Elan, it seems that October 7th has really brought the nastiest voices out of the woodwork and exposed people for what they really are. We're seeing it on college campuses, of course, and among the radical left, and we're even seeing it in the conservative movement where some have turned very sharply against Israel. Do you think a lot of that has to do with disinformation that's being spread about Israel? Like this claim that the Jewish state is somehow hostile to Christians?
Well, there's no question about it. But even before the misinformation, there are real anti-Semitic movements out there, and that's something that has to be addressed. I got to tell you, since October 7th, the organization I'm privileged to lead, the Israeli American Council, IAC, we've handled, are you ready for this? We've handled 600 cases involving anti-Semitism with students, 300 in K through 12, and then another 300 on university campuses. And so there is real harassment, discrimination, attacks, even hate crimes on occasion against students throughout our educational system in America. And this is a deep, deep problem. And so when you've got anti-Semitic movements spreading all around the country, well, no wonder people embrace misinformation, because they're looking to embrace misinformation. Yeah. You know, the perfect example is the claim of genocide, that Israel is perpetrating a genocide. You can't imagine a statement, a claim more ridiculous and more demonstrably false. And yet people not only accept it, they propagate it. And so this is something we've got to counter. Jew hatred is alive and well and growing, and we have to fight it no matter what ideological camp it comes from.
Yeah, and it's violent anti-Semitism, Elan. It's violent threats of genocide, threats of physical harm, and more than threats, some carrying out physical attacks against Jewish students here in the United States. It's really astounding. When I think of the vanguard of global anti-Semitism, Elan, I think of course, the Iranian regime, and we see cheerleaders for that Iranian attack on April 13th, that unprecedented barrage against Israel. We also had a NATO member nation, Turkey, the Turkish leader Recep Erdogan, hosting Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh over the weekend. Can you talk about this global support we're seeing in some quarters like Iran, like Turkey, for a terrorist movement, a genocidal terrorist movement known as Hamas, and what the response should be from the leader of the free world and Western leaders to this?
Well, that's right, Eric. You hit the nail on the head. Look, the head of the snake is Iran. Iran is responsible for an enormous amount of mischief in the world today through its proxies, Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis in Yemen, and others, militias in Iraq. They are doing profound damage, not only to Jews, but to the Arab world. They're undermining Arab democracy. They're undermining Arab normalization with Israel. And they are a clear threat to peace and security in the world. What we should be doing, you know, as the world superpower and as leaders of the free world, is we should be containing the Iranians. We shouldn't be helping the Iranians or giving them platforms or looking the other way as they sell oil in violation of sanctions. We should be containing them. We should be bringing them to their knees, because if they don't have the money to fund terrorism, the whole world is a safer place. And so whatever Israel is doing now, and it needs to be doing, needs to be fighting Hamas, a genocidal organization. It needs to be fighting Hezbollah, which is attacking Israel every day in the north in this so-called low-intensity war in the north of Israel. But at the end of the day, this problem will not be solved unless Iran is addressed. Iran is the head of the snake. And the fact, you're exactly right, the fact that a NATO country is now one of the apexes of the Muslim Brotherhood in the world today is something that that absolutely the free world has to deal with. We can't look the other way. And we have to say to Erdogan, you have a choice. It's either embracing Western values or it's embracing the Muslim Brotherhood and the enemies of the West. You can't have it both ways.
Yeah, I've said that Turkey under Erdogan's radical rule is more like NATO in name only. But Elan, we have about a minute left before we go. I wanted to ask you why you do what you do. Look, I mentioned earlier, obviously CEO of a great organization called the Israeli American Council, former deputy district attorney, U.S. Army vet, Iraq war vet. Why have you dedicated your life to doing what you're doing right now?
Well, I'll tell you, Eric, I do it because I'm actually optimistic. If I weren't optimistic, I wouldn't be doing this. I don't need to tilt at windmills. But we are really at the cusp of a moment of transformative change. And when our enemies show their true colors, their excesses, their evil, their hatred of goodness and decency, their hatred of America. By the way, do you see any American flags at these anti-Semitic rallies? You won't see a one. Their hatred of America and of Jews. This gives us unprecedented opportunities for spiritual renewal, to double down on godliness, to become agents of godly leadership in our world today. Now is the time for us to point and say, look at the enemy, look at who they are, look at what they are. Now is the time for us to lead and to fulfill the promise of America, which is to lead humanity to that better place, that more decent, good, just, and godly place that our children so richly deserve.
Amen. Well said, Elan Carr, CEO of the Israeli-American Council. Thanks so much, Elan. We'll see you again soon.